I researched the most common asked questions about heat protecting products, and in this video, we're going to answer them. Now, pro tip, because I am a pro, there's going to be a lot of information in this video, so settle in.
So settle in, because you are here for the long haul.
I will be adding my favorite heat protecting products at the end of this video, and some of them are really inexpensive. We will get to that in a second, don't worry. I'm just gonna teach you about heat protection first. Question number one, and we really should be starting here. What do heat protecting products actually do? For the most part, heat protection products have three main primary roles to make a product successful in protecting your hair against heat, and they are: it slows heat conduction. Now, what that means is that it creates a thin insulating film on the hair shaft that sort of acts like a buffer between the hot tool and your hair, slowing down the transfer of heat. Number two, it helps seal in moisture. So the product creates a film that has like a semi-occlusive layer, meaning that air and moisture can pass through at a slower rate, reducing water loss. And number three is reducing the risk of breakage by way of reinforcing the cuticle structure, or really at times help the weaker areas of your hair sustain heat. And if your product isn't doing any of that, then your heat protectant sucks and you're wasting your time and your money. But we will be fixing this today by educating you on what to look for. Next question, which is my favorite question, and probably why you clicked on this video in the first place: is there a way to know if my heat protection product is any good and does it actually work? And the answer to that is really no, not really. Let me explain. Let's take the toast test. This is a viral test where the heat protection product is applied to one side of the toast, it's put into the toaster, and then we see if the toast browns, essentially proving that the product protects the hair from heat. It seems simple enough, very visually effective, but it doesn't really tell us anything except for this toast isn't any good. We can't really say that toast is structurally like hair. Hair is made up of keratin proteins, which is a totally different heat response than the toast. It breaks down by denaturing, breaking, and dehydrating, and that's the response that hair has. What we're really doing is testing the Maillard reaction, which is a toaster's dry, radiant, inconsistent heat, which is designed to brown things. Some ingredients in heat protection sprays are going to react differently on toast than on hair. A product that delays the browning of toast may just be because of the wet, greasy film that it left, which does not mean it protects the internal structure of hair fibers. So this test is a fail. And then there is the receipt paper test.
Resume. Lucetta.
Unfortunately, this doesn't say anything either. Thermal receipt papers start to change color when it reaches a certain temperature, which is around 70 to 90 degrees. Heat protectants for hair are designed to reduce the rate of heat conduction, preventing internal damage and retain moisture, none of which can be observed through paper color changes. This test is a visual gimmick, and it will give you false positives and false negatives due to water content, alcohol content, and that's just to name few factors of why this test doesn't actually work. I could go on and on about this, but one of my favorite creators, Lab Muffin Beauty Science, has a whole video debunking this, and you should really check that out. So what can you do to test if your product is actually working? And the truth is, you can't really. R&D labs that test their products for their resilience against heat, it's quite difficult. They do a multiple of different tests just to figure this out. And I don't have the money, the time, or even the lab to go through all of that, much less the patience. So I thought of one way to test to see if heat protectant products actually do work, and if they are protecting the hair, and if there's something that I could do to prove that. I brought out a thermal camera and tested real hair with an array of heat protecting products, testing the residual heat that was left after a high heat iron glossed over it. I had a control, which means that I had a sample of hair that didn't have product on it. All the hair was from the same batch of hair, so there was that consistency as well. I also tested the hair after the hair had completely dried, just to make sure that there was no water as a factor, as a barrier there. And what I found after all of this was absolutely nothing. Like nothing of note anyway. The temperatures didn't massively contrast after the hot iron had glossed over the hair. I didn't really see a reduction in temperature in this test, so this didn't really tell me anything. And this test isn't really perfect, by the way, because I am testing residual heat, not testing internal damage. So again, it's only one part of the picture anyway, but no dramatic temperature changes between the products. So this really just wasn't great either. So the answer is no. Currently, you can't really know if heat protection products are effective in testing it out on toast, thermal paper, or even really a thermal camera. But there is one way we can tell if heat protection products are actually working, and that is over time. Literally over time, and watching the results and checking if the product has the proven ingredients that will actually do the job in protecting hair. Can I ruin my hair with heat protection products? Yes, you can, but not always in the way that some people are claiming.
The one thing that is more damaging than heat is the ingredients in your heat protectant.
Oil to your hair before you apply heat, you're basically gonna fry it off.
I wish I could just make nonsense go away with this wand, but unfortunately we can't. It's really hard to know what is true and what is false out there. First, we need to discuss what bubble hair is. And I'm not talking about those cute bubble hairstyles. I'm talking about bubble hair breakage. Bubble hair breakage is a form of irreversible damage that occurs when moisture is trapped inside the hair shaft and rapidly turns into steam under high temperatures, creating bubbles inside the hair, weakening the internal structure. And when the steam can't escape, it kind of has nowhere to go, and it rapidly finds a way out, breaking the hair, kind of exploding. And it sort of looks like this. For most hair types, this typically happens when hair is very wet and exposed to direct heat above 150 Celsius. Essentially, steam cannot be released out of the hair. The hair breaks under pressure. Wet to dry straighteners on high heat can potentially cause this. If you curl your hair with a very hot tong when it's wet, that can potentially cause this as well. Okay, so why is this important? Heat protection can have a semi or fully occlusive layer that attaches to the hair, creating a barrier. Silicones tend to coat the hair completely. That doesn't mean that they fully create an occlusive layer. There is some silicones that allow water to escape very well. Copolymers tend to make, grid-like structures around the hair. Proteins and amino acids tend to be dotted around the hair a little bit, and products like xylose tend to sort of fix certain areas of the hair where it's a little bit weaker to help sustain heat a bit better. So you might be thinking, could these semi or fully occlusive layers potentially increase the risk of bubble hair breakage? Because hair holds onto water, thermal protecting products are supposed to slow that moisture release. So possibly, it can happen, but not often. It would be easy to panic right now, throw your heat protection products away, but I'm gonna stop you right there and say this generally only happens when you're using heat wrong. If you are not applying very direct heat to very, very damp hair, we're talking 185 Celsius straightening irons to very damp hair, you're probably never really going to see this. And if you are doing this, please stop. Think of your hair and how good it's been to you over the years.
Stop it. Get some help.
There are some more barrier-forming ingredients like mineral oil, coconut oil, castor oil, beeswax, lanolin. Even some silicones are more high risk than others when it comes to bubble hair breakage. And if you are using these products before styling, try and be mindful about when you apply direct heat to your hair. Next question, my heat protectant product says it only protects the hair to a certain temperature. What does that mean? It means if you use that product, you are going to hair jail. It's a real thing, hair jail. We will find you. It mainly has to do with the type of ingredients. in the product. Some ingredients are better at protecting hair at higher heat than others. They create a more stable protective film over the hair. I'm going to include a caveat of this up to statement claimed by a lot of beauty companies. Even if the product says it protects up to X temperature, it doesn't actually mean that the hair is completely immune to heat damage. Just think of it as better shielded. Should I choose a wet application product or a dry application product? You should choose both. But if we're going to choose one, it should really be wet hair application products as a primary defense. Why? Well, number one, it spreads better. The water-based products spread better over the hair, and they tend to not miss areas of the hair. Water-based formulas tend to have better activated ingredients like film formers and humectants. And number three, better absorption in the hair. Water is a fantastic carrier for ingredients, so it just tends to get better absorption. Definitely think there is a time and a place for dry thermal protection, especially when dealing with high heat, tonging, ironing, or even restyling of the hair. But the major benefits are with the damp hair application products. When and how should I apply heat protectant products? Always apply your heat protectant products first, before any other product in your styling regime. The film formers and silicones that are used in these products work best without another barrier to the hair. I realize that some products have heat protection as an added function, but try your best to make sure your heat protection is as close to the cuticle as possible. You want to think of it as like a primer. Pro tip, make sure you apply your heat protection evenly as possible. Once you've applied it, whether it's a spray or a cream and you work it through your hair, try and brush it through just to make the application consistent. Are silicones bad in heat protecting products? Silicones are one of the #1 ingredients that help protect the hair against heat, and it's actually really good at doing that job. I feel like I could just end the video right now with that statement and get drowned in the hate comments that are going to come my way after saying that. But it's true, silicones are really good at protecting your hair against heat, and they're found in loads of heat protectant products. They're good at reducing thermal conductivity. They're also really great at creating a film around the hair and generally resist really high temperatures, remaining fairly stable at those high heats. The downside to some silicones, especially the ones that are not water soluble, is that you can sometimes get a buildup on the hair. A lot of shampoos will actually cleanse silicones out of the hair, but you can use chelating shampoos, which are shampoos that are excellent at pulling out impurities of the hair. This can help remove silicones if you find that you're getting a buildup in your hair. If your hair is heavily coated in silicones, you may be increasingly at risk of bubble hair breakage, but it really does have to be coated. And of course, you have to be putting that direct heat on your hair when it's really, really wet. Silicones can also make a barrier to some of your conditioning agents when you are conditioning your hair. Just try and keep that in mind when you are putting your very expensive conditioning mask on your hair. You just want to cleanse that out so you can make sure the conditioning mask can get to your mid-lengths and ends. So just to mitigate this, occasionally clarify your hair with a chelating shampoo. Not all the time, because that would get very drying if you are concerned about this. My favorite chelating shampoo is the Whey Detox shampoo. And for a lower price option, I like the ordinary 4% body and hair cleanser. That will be listed in the descriptions below. Again, unsponsored. I just really like those products. Are there inexpensive heat protectant products that I can buy? And the answer is there are loads. I would keep my eye on the list of ingredients in a product rather than the brand more than anything when looking for a good heat protection product. More expensive products don't always mean better, and it really depends on the pairing with the right product, with the right hair type, in the right function. One of my favorite things that I like to pair up heat protection with is detangling. If my heat protection product will help me detangle hair, I am sold. It is a win for me when that happens. I specifically look for heat protection products that have xylose in them. I love the way that my hair reacts to this particular ingredient. For me, it's not really about the brand, it's about what the product does and if I like it. Can I use natural oils for heat protection on my hair? You can, but I wouldn't really advise natural oils alone. I have a few problems with just using an oil by itself without adding any silicones, emollients, or solvents in the mix. Oils don't tend to evenly distribute on the hair because of its hydrophobic properties, so if it's coated unevenly, some areas might be more vulnerable than others when you're looking for that heat protection. Number two, better mixed with other ingredients. So oils do not have the best properties for heat protection sometimes just alone. There are other ingredients, there are film formers on the hair that can diffuse heat better. So it's not always the best ingredients always. And number three, oil degrades at certain smoke points. So what that means is that it can oxidize, creating free radicals and sticky residue that can leave the hair more dull and rough, prone to some breakage. But when I'm talking about oil, I'm talking about just oil alone. A lot of our oil-based products actually have silicones and other ingredients in them to help protect hair against the heat and make them more adaptable. But if you must use an oil, and I'm not going to recommend any alone oils to do this with, there are some oil-based products that I will be mentioning later in this video that are my favorite for heat protection. Is sun protection the same as heat protection? Sun can be damaging to the hair, and if you are in an area where you're getting a lot of sun, good for you. I would advise protecting your hair from UV rays. And sun protection ingredients are different from those thermal hot tool protection products. They're different in function and they're different in formulation. With sun protection, our main concern is the protein breakdown that we get under sun exposure. And with thermal protection, our main concern is moisture loss. Ingredients like benzophenone 4 and abovenzone are formulated to create UV filters that help reduce oxidation and color fading. So when you're looking for a sun protection product, I would look on the back of the bottle and look for some of those products. So ideally look for that. Not all ingredients are equal in their function. Sometimes products will say they protect hair against heat, and I look through the ingredient list and I can't really see anything that protects the hair against heat. It has like no UV filters or anything in it. Okay, quick fire round of my absolute favorites when it comes to heat protectant products. Now, these products are tried and tested. Some over years have stood the test of time for me and clients, and some are new and exciting. So since we're talking about the sun, let's start there. UV protection for hair is not always common in products. Research is actually really limited compared to something like the efficacy of sun protection on skin, but I could very much recommend the Bumble & Bumble Invisible Oil Primer for sun protection because it has a significant amount of UV filter ingredients in it. This is a great heat protectant as well. You can use it for blow drying. If you're styling your hair with irons, I might actually add a little bit more heat protection for that dry styling, but this is a really great product. It also leaves the hair really shiny. Pureology Color Fanatic also has some UV filters in it as well. You're going to be seeing this product a lot because it has 21 benefits. Moving on to the best heat protectants for damaged hair, I have two honorable mentions in this category, and one is the Elnet Satin Heat Protection Styling Spray. I really love this product. It has xylose in it, which I love. It helps detangle the hair and it smells really great too. It's so cost effective as a heat protectant. And of course, Color Fanatic again. Also, this has xylose in it. It makes the hair feel genuinely fantastic. If you have not tried this product, what planet are you on? Because it is just great. It's been around for ages, but it's great at protecting hair. It's great at detangling hair. It's not heavy. It's great for all hair types. It's just great. Best for styling and protection, I like using the incredible blow dry cream from Kerastase. You have a few ingredients here that help the hair hold a style as well as protect the hair from heat. I use this when I want to have a light hold and some baseline heat protection when I'm blow drying and styling my hair. Now, there are hairsprays on the market that claim to protect hair against heat, and I just want to caveat this with hairsprays with heat protection are never going to replace the product that fully protects your hair against heat. Plus, some of these products have polymers that can dry on the hair at high heat, leaving the hair feeling a little bit brittle and prone to damage in another way. But hairsprays applied to hair before heat really do help hold the style. So if you are doing this, I would recommend the Sam McKnight Modern Hairspray. This is a good option, or some simple Elnet does have some basic silicones and panthenol that will protect the hair against heat. The Sam McKnight Modern Hairspray has another type of film former in the ingredients list, so I'm guessing that it will protect the hair just a little bit more than the Elnet, so it's probably better at the higher heat styling. Hairdressers have been applying light hold hairspray to hair before tonging for years. It helps hold the hair in the style, and it adds just a little bit of slight heat protection. But you just have to make sure that some heat protecting ingredients are in the formula. And don't do this all the time because it can really dry out your hair. Okay, best for detangling, and really a lot of these heat protecting products are great for detangling, but one of my favorites to detangle with, if this is important to you, is the Kenra Platinum Blow Dry Cream Spray. This adds such a nice slip to the hair, and it really does protect the hair. I actually find that this product is actually really lightweight for most hair types, but some people do say that they find it heavy. I certainly find it lighter than some of the other products that are out there. And of course, again, the Pureology Color Fanatic. This is so amazing at detangling hair. There is a lot of conditioning polymers and silicones that make this product make the hair easier to detangle. It's just great. When you use this, you really can tell that your hair just detangles so well. It's like my #1 detangling product. Best for dry hair application. So I have a few great options in this category, starting off with the Amika The Shield Anti-Humidity Spray. Now, I would say that these silicones and the conditioning agents are going to be the main ingredients that make this product protect the hair against humidity, but it has a more baseline heat protection when it comes to the actual ingredients. This product does claim it has UV filters, but I can't actually see any of the ingredients that are specifically for that in the ingredients list, but you can use this for dry heat styling. I would just use it in conjunction with another wet hair application product, so you make sure that your hair is fully protected. That way you're solid. Moroccan Oil Perfect Defense. This product has been around for a while, but it's great at protecting hair, specifically for high heats. And you would think that because it's Moroccan oil, it would be very heavy on the hair, but it's not. It's really light. And in fact, I think it actually gives the hair just a tiny bit of hold as well. The silicones and the hydrolyzed proteins are doing the work to make sure the product is really effective. And if you love the smell of Moroccan oil, you're really gonna love this product. And last, I have the VO5 Dry Heat Protect. Now, this isn't perfect because it doesn't have the great mix of silicones, proteins, and polymers that the other two have, but it does have some basic silicones in it. But in my book, this will work, and it's good at some basic heat protection if you're looking at something to be a little bit cheaper. Okay, best oils for heat protection. I have two options here, and it really depends on what you like in terms of feel and price. So my first is the Coconut Miracle Oil from OGX. This stuff is very heavy. I would probably apply to wet hair more than dry. If you have fine hair like me, a very little bit goes a long way. This oil also has some amazing extra use cases like pre-treatment before washing. It's generally low-cost treatment. It's just good all around, and it does have a little bit of heat protection, so you can look to this product for added heat protection. But please, again, if you're looking to apply some intense conditioning treatments or bond rebuilding treatments in a regime, just make sure this is completely washed out so the conditioning mask can kind of get through into the hair. Can't say much for the contents, like the actual packaging of this product. Like, I really like the product, but it's just, it doesn't all the way snap on all the time. And so it ends up being really slippy. It works. It works. I'm so afraid of like touching my hair with this. It'll just bring it right down. On wet hair. The second is Shiramura Essence Absolute, an oldie now, but a goodie. The price tag of this oil will make you wince at first. It will, but it lasts a long time. It is so good for fine hair. It totally stands up to heat. It's great. Best for wet hair application. So my favorite protection product for application on wet hair is the Kerastase Premier Anti-Frizz Filler Heat Protecting Hair Serum. That was a mouthful. Why do they have to make that product have such a really long name? It looks really nice though, this product. This is maximum protection product. I want my hair smooth, no frizz, I want repair, I want to protect my hair. It feels great on every hair type. It doesn't disappoint. If you look on its rating, everybody rates it really high. And Kerastase have really upped their game over the last few years. It's not your mama's heat protection anymore. Not that your mama was using heat protection. Let's just be honest with that. And my favorite heat protection product overall is the Pureology Color Fanatic. How can you not? You just can't go wrong with it. It has everything. It's the GOAT. I've actually used it to detangle Sam's hair once. Don't tell anybody. So my final verdict, are heat protecting products actually worth it, or is it a load of Of course they are. You just need the right one. And if this at all helped you, why not check out some of my other videos on hair products, hair tools. Let me know what you'd like me to review next. And with that said, I'm gonna end this video.